Hi, my name's Maddie. I'll be discussing some weekly content that we learned from week 1 of this public speaking class. So one thing that was most important to me was movement. Why should we move? It can increase our variety, it can grab our attention from the audience, it can add to what's being discussed, such as, for example, if you're trying to explain a situation to your audience or an example, the best thing would would probably be to act it out, just to bring the story to life and just to have your audience better understand it. This can express your energy, such as something that you're passionate about, such as like dogs or animals, or just something that you're very passionate about in life. You could express your energy toward that by having a lot of excitement toward that. Some things I personally that I can have struggled with would be movement that goes wrong. One thing I've always struggled with was being nervous during my speeches in any class, whether it had been my first year of college, high school, grade school, anything like that. I always got nervous, and I would always pace back and forth, which is not good because it can easily distract the audience. So that's probably one thing I need to work on. And the other thing would be feeling unnatural toward the audience, like just feeling awkward on stage. I personally struggle with that a lot, so another thing I need to work on. Movement strategies. I like the idea where Eric described by starting in the middle of the room and just making like a little square during your speech. I think that's very beneficial and it can really help me out. And then also he said use the space when discussing highly visual topics, such as like, I don't know, like you're describing like you want to like paint a picture in the audience's head when you're describing something visual. Another thing I personally have struggled with is eye contact. I think that everyone struggles with that toward the beginning of their public speaking. Right out of high school, I think it's very hard to give eye contact when you're very nervous to the audience. So in high school, I always just face the screen and read off the slides, which is not good at all because you're not giving your eye contact toward the audience, and you're just facing the screen, just talking, basically pretty much like talking to yourself. So I think that I need to really work on that. And I actually, on my speaking mentor speech, I think that I gave a lot of eye contact, which is better because I usually don't. So that's one thing to work on. And another thing that was discussed in the weekly content is how to give effective eye contact. I like the idea how he described 5 seconds for each person. Just go all around the room and just give eye contact for at least 5 seconds with every individual, and then that can make you less nervous, and you just know that you have someone to look at. Also, he said that try and see the beautiful color in people's eyes. I think that's a great idea and very interesting. I've never heard that before, so I think that's pretty cool. I'll definitely try that on my upcoming speeches. Another thing that's very important that I think that's very important is practice. I think that's how everyone's going to get better at public speaking and their skills. So just practice every time before your speech. You can't just practice 2 or 3 times and expect to have a great speech. You have to practice several times, whether that be in front of the audience or just maybe in front of your professor. I think that's very good thing to just practice before and just have your speech down and nailed so you can give a great speech to your audience. Another thing would be gestures. More specifically, be like show necessary details, make your content more visual for the audience, not just pretty much like I said before, just paint a picture in their head of the situation, for example, you're trying to convey to them. And one thing that I struggle with would be, Eric described, would be the different types of gestures to avoid would be leaf fig, handcuffs, death grip, beautification, gunfire, church builder. I personally have struggled with handcuffing. I didn't even know that was a term, honestly. So I think that I always do this when I speak, or just fiddle with my fingers, so, or just like fiddle with my hair. So I think that I can really improve that with just practicing and not being as nervous while going up on stage or in front of the class. He said that how to gesture, becomes natural. It doesn't need to be really effective for the audience. Possibly use gestures that reflect what you're discussing. Like use your hands. I personally don't use my hands, so it's going to be kind of hard to nail those gestures down for the audience, but I'm going to try to improve that as the course prolongs. Listening, I usually easily get distracted when I'm trying to listen to a speech by my other classmates, so I think I need to focus my attention on them, and so I can become a better public speaker. I like the solar stance. I think that's a good idea. It stands for square, open, lean, eye contact, relax. I think that it's very good for anyone that is struggling with nervousness. Let's see. The one thing I personally struggle with, like the most important thing is I like how the number of strategies that Eric discussed to try to overcome public speaking anxiety. He discussed, I personally like the music one, deep breathing. I usually take like several breaths before I go up on stage just to clear my mind and get my head off everything. And I also like the pumping up your blood with the music, or jumping jacks. I like to, like I said in the other video, I like to exercise, so I think those techniques would be really beneficial for myself and to decrease my public speaking anxiety. He said the meditation, I think that I'm not really into yoga, so I think that I would probably not use that a lot. I don't know, just me. And the secret practice I really liked because I struggle with practicing. I never want to practice. I just want to wing it and hope for the best. So I think that with the secret practice, I work, like I said in the other video too, I work as a server at a restaurant. So I think that it'd be very easy to have many conversations with every customer at their table and with my coworkers, even with my friends and family. I think that I could just improve my public speaking skills by just practicing with people all around me every day. So I think it could be very beneficial. And I also have a big struggle with conclusions. I think that I just struggle a lot. I just, like Eric said in the video, he said to avoid. As you saw in class, unfortunately, I just said yeah as I finished my presentation. I didn't like recap anything in my speech for the speaking mentor. So I think that I just need to wrap everything up. Like you said, review the main points similar to my preview, just going over, recapping everything that I discussed in my speech. Tying everything back, coming to an end, and revisit your speech from the very beginning. Remind your audience why the speech was important to you. I think that's very beneficial and a key factor in nailing down public speaking. And then the things that he avoided, like I said, I say yeah, so, and then bringing in new information, I always do that at the end, and not mastering my final sentence. I think that's a very big struggle for me, so I think I need to just practice my speech and know what I'm going to say at the end, rather than just getting nervous and not recapping everything. So just to recap, I want to go over movement. Like I said, I do it a lot. I just pace back and forth. Usually it's just due to nervousness and yeah, he said that movement strategies, I like the one that he started in the middle and then just made like a little circle around the room, and then, so yeah. And then eye contact, like I said, I really struggle with that one. I think that it's very important to have eye contact with every individual in the audience, and just to pick people that you want to have eye contact with. So here I go, just saying so again. Like, But eye contact is very important. I always struggle with that in high school. Gestures, I always do like I said, the handcuff one. I always struggle with that because I just get nervous. My hands get clammy, and I just sweat a lot, so it's pretty embarrassing. But listening, I tend to not listen a lot to other people's speeches, so I need to get better at that. The solar stance, I think it's very important. And then the strategies to overcome my nervousness by just doing the music one, breathing to every beat. And then the warming up my blood by doing push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks. I think that's a great idea. I think I need to really use that in the future of my public speaking. And then, like I said, the secret practice. I think that's going to be a lot. I think that's going to really help me a lot, and I won't be let's hope I won't be as nervous as I was on my first speech. I'll just continue to get better and better every time I go up in front of the class. I think that this video is very important to me. I think that Eric discussed a lot of strategies to help me overcome my anxiety, avoid certain gestures that I do constantly, listen better, and the most important thing would be to concluding the speeches, like I said, not just saying, yeah, so that's it. Actually have a strong statement at the end and not knowing what you're going to say in the conclusion. So thank you for listening.